Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Jennifer Mellick from Pediatric Partners. I think that this is working right now. Anyway, I don't know. Good morning. I'm Dr. Jennifer Mellick. I'm from Pediatric Partners. Today is October 23rd, 2020, and I'm supposed to be talking a little bit about Halloween safety in the age of COVID. I'm going to try to make this brief, but just to tell you the irony of this situation is it's kind of funny that I'm the person who's getting to talk about Halloween safety or Halloween in general because of the doctors, the nurses, the staff, um, nurse practitioners at Pediatric Partners. I am probably the biggest bah humbug of everybody when it comes to Halloween. I don't know why. I didn't really even love it as a child. Um, I, I don't know. And as a parent, I always was kind of like, if my kids want candy, they can have candy, and then I know what they're getting. But anyway, I'm also kind of the only person in my family who's bah humbug about this. Just to share with you guys a little bit. Um, a couple years ago, last year maybe it was, I don't remember. My husband got into these big head things that you can find, I think, at Walmart. And of course, they're not what is recommended for safety of Halloween anyway, because they're huge. You can't see out of them. So that's not typical Halloween safety. But I think maybe you guys, I don't know, this is terrible lighting in here. Maybe you can see a little bit of this. These are my nieces, nephews, and of course my phone's not going to work. But anyway, they all got dressed up in them and they just thought it was absolutely hilarious. But I mean, we had like a sloth and a panda and I don't know, a shark, baby shark kind of situation. But my family loves this. Again, unfortunately, I am just the bah humbug person, but I also have a daughter who is like incredibly good at makeup, and she did some really crazy things this year to kind of to dress up and such. But she did a crazy like application to her face. I got to show you guys this because this is just cuckoo. This is my kid. She's absolutely lovely, by the way, as you can see, but that's not a real cut. That is her doing makeup. This year, she tried to make herself look like she sewed her lips shut. So she like paper mache her face and paper mache her lips and used a scissor to cut it open and then stitched it closed, and it was all bloody and gross. I wish I had a picture of that to show you. But anyway, not that that's any big point, but the irony is here I am talking to you a little bit about Halloween safety in the time of COVID. Um, so here we are. I don't know what to tell you. I guess um, probably this talk should center around risk versus benefit. And I have talks with patients about this all the time because life is about risk versus benefit. Everything that we do in life in general is a risk. And so what is the benefit? So this year with Halloween, the risk is a little bit different with COVID. So, you're going around, you are getting candy if you're trick or treating with your children from people who are not right now probably within your safety circle or your pod. So there's some risk with that. I get though that everybody has sort of COVID fatigue. I don't know if that's the word, but that's kind of what we all have. We're tired of this. We're tired of our masks. Mine's back there. I'm in my office by myself. We're tired of not being able to celebrate the things that we're used to celebrating. But the risk is still real. Just so you guys know, we are seeing COVID in our office. We are seeing kids with COVID. A fair amount of them are getting their exposure, not necessarily from school or daycare, but from the events, the things that they're choosing to do outside of school and outside of daycare, and sometimes outside of work. Although our older kids, they are probably getting some exposure because of the places that they're working. So I just learned, maybe I can figure this out. of how to share my screen, I think. But the CDC has some excellent resources on things that are safe or safer, and what would be considered high risk and what would be lower risk. So Halloween is fun for kids. I acknowledge that, even though I don't love it. I know that the kids really do. They like dressing up. They think it's fun. They love going and showing themselves off to their neighbors. So there's some stuff that can be done that is a little bit safer. No idea if this is going to work. I don't see how to share my right now. Oh, I do. Okay, let's see if I can share my screen with you so you can see a little bit of what I've got going on here. Um, I'll start screen share. It says it's not gonna let me. Anyway, all right. Well, regardless, if you just go to cdc.gov, I think /coronavirus /2019, and then holidays. Halloween is one of the ones that they're talking about on what you can do to make things safer. So the idea is going to be kind of limit your direct contact. If you're giving out the treats, try to do it more outside. I think that you should probably be wearing a mask. And Halloween is great because masks are part of um, Halloween. And so if you can, make your mask a part of your costume if you're one of those people who dresses up to give out Halloween treats. We at my house, I always used to just be the one to stay home and make my husband go trick or treat with the kids because again, I didn't really love it. It's often cold or it's excruciatingly hot because it's Kansas, so whoever knows. So I would stay home and I'd put on my bathrobe and I'd put two curlers in my hair and a shower cap on and I was a tired mommy. So there was my costume. So, you can try to make your mask a part of your your costume and make it more fun. Um, be cautious though with the masking because we do not want, multiple layers of masks, and know that a costume mask is not going to be a substitute for a cloth mask. So you don't want to have your kids have difficulty breathing. So the recommendation is not to wear a costume mask over a cloth mask. So this year, maybe try to incorporate the mask in a different way. There's, you could make like a cute little kitty face if you're being a black cat, or a scary mouth on a witch, something like that. We don't really recommend masking still for anybody under the age of 2 or if someone has trouble breathing. And then, if possible, when you are going trick or treating, if that's what you're going to do, try to stay 6 feet apart or not have a 15-minute or more conversation with the trick or treaters, or your child not have that long period of time. It would be good if you could set up a station where you have individually bagged treats for kids to take so that you're not having to handle them and you're not having people reach into a community dish. Um, Obviously, bring along your hand sanitizer. Have your kids wash their hands a lot. Try to keep their hands off their face if they've been touching a community bowl. Um, and then think about other ways that you can maybe celebrate this holiday. I mean, you don't have to trick or treat. You can set up a scavenger hunt for your kids with their candy at the house. You could just decorate your house and do pumpkin carving and teach the kids how to make pumpkin seeds out of an actual pumpkin. Um, you could get together with neighbors and create a scavenger hunt where you're finding things like pictures, and there can be clues of where to go the next place. If you wanted to hand out something, then have individually bagged treats there. You can get really creative with your neighbors. Outdoor activities, of course, are great. There's some really cool pumpkin patches. We do have orchards around here. It's time of year where you can do some picking or choosing your pumpkin or choosing your apples. Um, and there's corn mazes and those type of things are good. If you like to get into that haunted stuff, indoor haunted houses, I don't even know if they're going to be open, but it probably is not a really great idea. Choose more of a haunted forest kind of thing, particularly if you're walking one way as opposed to other people coming at you. So, those scary things, and Kansas City is known for our haunted houses, which is just terribly sad, but there's people in there and they're screaming. So they're, putting their mists into the air, and so we don't really want any of that. Um, think about maybe turning this around a little bit. So instead of trick or treating, have your kids create little notes for neighbors and incorporate some kindness into this holiday. Talk about what it is that your kid likes about the neighbor, or we have some older families in our neighborhood, and it would be really, I think, kind of cool if my kids could draw a picture or color a picture or write a cute little note and go do that kind of thing, where almost like a Mayday situation where you go and you run it up there and you hide. So those would be things that you could maybe do that would be different. Um, we're very lucky also, of course, in that we are living in the age that we are. We have this ability to get onto different social medias and be able to interact with family, friends in different ways. You could host a Zoom dance party. You could do a shared movie watch. There's lots of great scary movies and not so scary movies that are really fun to watch around the Halloween time. I mean, I see a bunch of them coming out. Hocus Pocus was always one of my favorites. And of course, it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, which I do understand is not being aired live, but I mean, you can probably find it on Netflix or YouTube, or I mean, I don't know, my children could probably tell everybody how to do it. So, um, I think it's just going to be important to try to think about how COVID has affected us. That being said, do this typical safety things that you would do every year. You want to remember that there are a lot of people outside when it comes to Halloween night. And this year, all of our big holidays are happening on a weekend, which I think everybody was so excited about with 2020, is that Halloween it wasn't a school night, so the kids really could have gone out and had a good time. I think Thanksgiving is always a Thursday, but Christmas and New Year's are that way too. So it's just been kind of disappointing that 2020 has ended up this way. But um, be safe, if even if taking not taking into account COVID. You want your kids reflective. You want them to be able to be seen. So if their costumes are dark, think about getting them some glow sticks or those glow necklaces or little bracelets so that the kids light up to cars. Um, Go out with the little kids and make sure that they're not darting out into the street, even if you live on a fairly you know, uh, remote or tucked back away from main roads, cul-de-sacs. Kids get hit by cars every year on Halloween, so make sure that you are watching out for them. If you're driving, slow down. Make sure that you are looking out for those kids. Um, and Obviously check your kids' candy. Um, you know, if they're going to eat candy, it's probably been handled by multiple people if it's not something that you purchased in your own home. So if they open it, have them open it, put it on something, and then, not touching the package, and then wash their hands before they actually eat the candy. That way they're not having stuff from packages then put, germs into their mouth. So again, I think that there's a lot of ways that you can do some fun things. You could do like a Zoom costume contest. So just have fun, but be safe. We have seen some interesting trends here at the office in that big events tend to cause us to see boosted COVID numbers and sick people here. So right now, this week, we're seeing a ton of people who are getting swabbed for COVID. We haven't seen a lot of positive this last week, but a lot of sore throats that are negative strep. So there's clearly something else going around. And making sure that you are washing hands and eating healthy and getting enough rest so that you can fight off those things. Um, Not necessarily Halloween related, and I'll wrap it up here pretty quick, but this is another time of year to start thinking about other safety things. We are going to end daylight savings time November 1st, so that would be the day after Halloween. This is always a time that we try to remind people to think about your house safety. So we usually say to check your smoke detectors. Don't forget to change your clocks, of course, but check your smoke detectors. Um, Make sure that your fire evacuation plan in your home is updated and that you've reviewed that with your family. As your kids get older, they become more independent. And so they may not be attached to your side. You know, is your 16-year-old in the basement? Is she up in her room? Where is she? So make sure that you guys have a plan for how you evacuate your home and where you meet. I mean, we don't want a parent running back inside to find that said 16-year-old because the earbuds are in and they don't hear what's going on. Hopefully your smoke detectors or fire alarms are loud enough, but make sure that you know where everybody should be. Who's going to be getting the pets? I mean, at my house, holy moly, we are going to have to get out 4 hamsters, a dog, fish. Oh no, wait, I think our fish is gone now. Isn't that terrible? I'm not in charge of it. So, um, who's rescuing your pets? Because pets are an important part of your family, and you want to make sure that they're safe as well. Um, it's a good idea at this point to kind of check tires, um, fill up your windshield wiper fluid, make sure that you are set up for the winter in your car. Um, have your scrapers out. I mean, we might have snow next week, and who knows? It's Kansas, and then the next week it'll be beach weather. You just never can tell. Usually, it's a good idea to carry some water in your car in case you get stranded. Um, Blankets are a good idea in the Kansas weather. My husband will remind you to, or at least will remind me to try to keep your car gas tank filled above half. I am terrible with this. He likes to say that I drive on E for exciting or excitement. I just can't stand filling up my car. So um, anyway, so these are all things that are important to do this time of year. But get creative, have fun. If you love this holiday, then find a way to do something new. Um, this time of year, for me, it always makes me think of what I can do in terms of kindness. This is the time of year that we're coming up on when my dad got sick and died. And my dad was my parents really both are the kind of people who did those random acts of kindness. And so this time of year, I start thinking about what kind of random acts of kindness can we do as a family at my house to make sure that we're looking out for our neighbors because we are entering that time of year that can be kind of depressing. And this year, definitely, we may see more depression and isolation given COVID. We are not going to maybe travel as much. So you may have neighbors who don't have their family coming to see them. So reach out in whatever way that you can. Leave them a little, bouquet of flowers or a note or um, something that incorporates community in a new way. I think we should all be grateful that this COVID didn't happen in the 1980s or 1990s when we didn't have all of these ways to engage in different ways. Anyway, so off my soapbox, I guess, but deep thoughts is what's on my mind, and be kind to each other and help each other. And if you're going to celebrate Halloween, be safe. Make sure that you check your kids' candy, um, ask them to brush their teeth, and consider decreasing the amount they consume. At my house, we would allow the kids to eat candy, save a couple for the next week or so, and then we stick it all in a big bucket. And the great pumpkin or the switch witch would come and take all of the candy out of the house and leave the family a gift. So we have gotten some board games, some movies, just different stuff that puzzles, just different stuff that the kids have liked. So those are ways to try to keep it a little healthy as well, which I suppose I should talk about. But it's okay not to be that boring person who gives out toothbrushes and toothpaste. Just it's a little bit of candy is never that awful as long as it's a little bit and we brush our teeth. So be safe, have fun, and if you see me and I'm not dressed up on Halloween, well, at least I won't be at the office this way. I at least get into see. I have spectacular patience. So I love you all. Be well and happy Halloween. All right. Bye bye.